T-minus 20 seconds and counting.
Police are firing tear gas.
We have ignition sequence start.
Yeah, it means they're about to get out here in the street.
12, 11, 10.
We want to choose our president because we want to take this country into the future.
It is a new world record!
Liftoff.
We're on the way. Roger, we confirm.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryn from Riot and welcome to The Big Picture. In every episode of The Big Picture, we take you all over the world to step inside some of the most important stories of our time. Look around you. Explore. This is the news as you've never seen before.
I want you to take a minute and just look around you. Now, this is not a special day. This place is empty like this for the last 15 years, 365 days a year, nothing happening here. And this is the heart of the biggest city in the West Bank. It's a city that 220,000 Palestinians living in and 750 Jews. And the reason it's empty this way is because of the Jewish community living here in the heart of the city. This used to be a neighborhood. Look behind you. It used to be a road going to another neighborhood. This street called the Shuhada Street, it was the main streets in the heart of Hebron when market were operating, traffic was flowing, buses was traveling, empty. And it's all empty because this place is isolated. And it's isolated to protect the 1,000 people or the 750 people, Jews, that insist to continue living here. Now, they have good reason to live here. This is the most important place in the Jewish perspective, in the religious perspective, to the Jewish people.
What is Hebron? Hebron or Hebron is the roots of the Jewish story. That's our flowering tree, Jerusalem. This is the roots. What is this the roots of? First, the roots of all humanity. Adam and Eve are buried here. And then the next root is what sustained humanity throughout the last thousands of years, and that's the Abrahamic faiths. Abrahamic faiths. What Abraham believed, ethical monotheism, the belief in God. We are now inside the structure, okay, so I didn't get to say this before, it's called the Machpelah, which means the double cave, the dual cave. And that's because the Bible talks about that this is a double cave underneath this building. And there's a whole long text in the Bible about Abraham purchasing the Machpelah from the Hittites. The Hittites were a real people. We have records of them living in this town, Hebron, 4,500 years ago. They're the originators of this town. But Abraham comes in and he purchases a plot for burial. The Bible spills a lot of ink talking about how he made the purchase and how much money he paid. And one of the reasons that's important to us is because it lends real legitimacy. The real purchase document is the Bible. It tells about Abraham purchasing, not evicting, not hurting anybody.
The first time the Jews bought land in Israel.
That's right. The first purchase of land in this area, in this region, is by Abraham to bury Sarah and to create a burial plot for his whole family, the biblical family, or the biblical revolutionaries. By the way, if you go to the United States and you want to see who the founders are, you can see the Constitution, it's under glass. If you want to go to China, you could see Mao Zedong. If you used to go to Soviet Union, you could see Lenin. If you want to come to the Jewish people and see who the founders are, you come here. Now, most religions, when they take over, they destroy the remnants of the other religions. So if the Christians, the Crusaders come here, they will destroy the remnants of the Muslims. When the Muslims came here, they destroyed the church that was built atop here. All right, that is a very regular occurrence. The Jews, when we came back here in 1967, we have a different outlook, and one that can be argued with, and that is we have kept up the Islamic appearance of this place, which was built up in the last 700 years. And so therefore, the place still looks quite Islamic, but it has these Hebrew writings and markings, all kinds of things around it to tell people this is indeed a Jewish prayer site. That is the two minarets right above us firing off right now to the Allahu Akbar prayers, calling Muslims to come to a different part of this building and pray here at what they call the Ibrahimi Mosque. Come with me for a second. The Jewish people pray here, and they have with them one of these ancient scrolls, the Torah, okay? Here's the beautiful ancient Torah. This has been rewritten exactingly for the last over 3,000 years, 3,500 years. And here I even see the promise of God that says, I will give this land to you and to your seed after you as an eternal covenant, the land of Canaan. There it says right there, Eretz Canaan. So the promises are in the Bible that the Jewish people have a right to live in this land. The story of the purchase of the Machpelah, the tombs of the patriarchs and matriarchs, the fathers and the mothers, is written in the Bible. The Jewish people come here, they read the ancient scrolls, they get connected to their history. Is Israel going to stay here? People like myself and the Jewish community of Hebron are saying we're going to stay here forever and we need Israeli sovereignty here and the Arabs around us will prosper. It's a mostly Arab city. 97% of it is an Arab city. 3% of it is a Jewish enclave within it. And there's been a lot of tensions. And certainly people like myself, the international spokesman of the Jewish community, wants to promote the rights of the Jewish people to come here, pray here, live here in peace.
I really don't understand it. I don't understand how you can be living in this situation, putting your kids here in risk, feel this energy that you kind of committed to this kind of greatest mission to save Israel and protect our heritage. Don't protect my heritage. I drew without your permission to come to to visit my mother and my father here. I will still feel there my mother and my father without sleeping 2 meters out of them in the among 220,000 Palestinians that don't like the fact that I'm here. So this is one of the reasons I refused. I decided not to do it anymore. Also because I didn't want to harm any more rights of other people. But I don't think it's not sustainable and you cannot really create any future here by doing this. And these kids there don't get it yet. It took me 4 years in the army to understand it. I was an officer and I was older. They will not get it. You've been trained to believe strongly, so this is what you need to do to protect your people. All right, I shut up now. Let's go. Look around you, how it feels like. From the other side of this road that looks so isolated and so quiet, there is a whole city. And I want to show you how the other side of this road looks like. So guys, what we're going to do now, this is basically the end of the Shuhada Street. And what we want to do now, we're going to cross to the other side. We have a friend coming to help us, to get in and guide us around there. This is to protect the Jewish community that's living inside here. If you want to go from here to buy something, you always have to go through this checkpoint. And it's always a hustle around these places, misunderstanding, don't know the language. It's a big thing for kids to pass through if you want to get stuff. It's very annoying. There's always issues around this checkpoint. We just been in the other side. There is a whole area where people are walking, living, shopping. Here it is. Look around you. Does it look the same? Was it worth building this wall inside the city to allow us to pray? You know, it's funny because I feel much more relaxed here. I'm supposed to be much more nervous here than there because kind of, you know, I'm supposed to be the enemy here, but I feel much more relaxed here than there. Because
You
of the,
remember when we were arrested?
because of the because of the work we did together,
Yes, because
definitely.
we went to...
Yeah. Why they put this on the top?
That's maybe for shelter the Palestinians, but it was installed by the army, by the way.
Okay.
It's not by the Palestinians.
So the army-
to protect,
the army
to protect Palestinians from the stones of the settlers.
So they're throwing stone. on
Yeah,
here
yeah.
and-
The old one was full of big stones, bottles, garbage, and everything. Palestinians in Hebron think that, you know, there is, a systematic policy to evacuate this city for the sake of settlers. Even here, no business, the business was really damaged here. The security measures to protect the settlers, like closing the street and putting lots of checkpoints, many people left. I remember in 2007, the survey Beit Salem did, we found out 1,700 flats are empty, including this one, because of these measures. And 1,400 shops are also, many people lost their businesses here because of this policy. Once I read, an article to an Israeli writer. He said, if we don't put an end to the settlers project, they will put an end to Israel.
I don't want to undermine the problem in Hebron, but if you step back and look on the West Bank and look at settlers as a whole, what you see here, this settlement, this is the face of the occupation. We're talking about between 300,000 to 500,000 people living in these places. We're talking about around 12 kilometers. We're talking about deep inside the West Bank. And it's just one of many. It's not few caravans on a hill. This is how it's looked like. This is a city. And they're taking a big chunk of land from the future Palestinian country.
Of course, it is important to clear up that the Bible does say that the Jewish people will come back home to the land of Israel. This is the project of our people. Democracy will yield to Jewish first. Democracy is a nice way for us to have a discourse amongst us, but it's not here to suddenly let the Arab peoples who have 22 other countries around us have a say in how the Jewish state is run, okay? We're the landlord, we're the owners here, you know what I mean? Either we're stealing this land or we're not stealing this land. That's the only question we have to answer, that's it. Which one is it?